Alright everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to build our first carnivorous bog. Filmed for you all as requested. Now, the first thing you're probably asking is, what is a carnivorous bog? Carnivorous bog is a way to showcase your plants without taking up too much space, per se. You can put up to 7 in one pot or more. In this one, we were going to start with 4, but I actually decided that we're going to do a little bit more. But we're going to start with your setup first. What you're going to need, right? You're going to need a pot. If you're going to do a bog, if you're going to do it in a pot, you're going to want to do it at least 10 inches. And you're going to want to have it at least 11 inches deep. 7 to 11 inches deep is ideal, especially for Venus flytraps, because their root strings are very long. So that would be your first step. Now, a lot of people don't believe in this, but I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never had a problem. A lot of people, when they're building or setting up their pots, they like to put sphagnum moss in the bottom and press it down to where it actually holds the moisture. Not the case for me. What I do simply is I put a piece of newspaper in there, down on the bottom. Wash it off first just to make sure. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh no, the ink. No, well, that's not the case. Like I said, 15 years, I've never had a problem. That's the way I do it. That's the way I hold the soil inside of the pot. The next thing you're going to need is your base, okay? Now, what do you mean base? Your base is your mycorrhizal zone where all the beneficial bacteria lives. So you're going to want to make that in layers. So we got our first base in. This has already been pre-mixed with mycos, so it's already ready to rock and roll. But if you don't have it pre-mixed, I'm going to show you the best way to do it when you lay your first layer. Give me 1 second here. The one I use is Great White. Great White, killer roots for killer plants. Premium mycorrhizae. Comes in, this is a 1 ounce bottle. Now you can get it up to like, I think a 5-gallon bucket full, which you're talking major money then. This one here is about $14 on Amazon. But what you do, pop the top, just sprinkle it in. This 1 ounce bottle comes with a salt shaker type top. Sprinkle it all on there. The more the better. It's not going to hurt the plant. All it's going to do is stimulate the roots. So we should have a nice tan complected base once you're done doing that. Plus this was already pre-mixed, so these roots are really going to take off. Next up is your props. Now, a lot of people, when they build a community pod, they like to put props in, make it look nice, pretty, whatever the case may be. I do that. And I'm going to show you a couple of the things that I'm going to do, or a couple of the different things that you can use to make your bog look amazing. Stones. These rocks here came from a river in North Carolina when I went on a vacation. These are some smaller ones. You can use these to set throughout the bog, or you can just put your big pieces in. You can use some big props. This is a big pointed stone, a piece of granite, or a piece of driftwood, which is what we're going to use for ours. But you want to put that in first. You don't want to wait until you got your layers in and then you decide you're going to use the driftwood. So we got our about 4-inch layer, myco zone. We're going to place this here in the back as tight to the wall as we can. And we should probably turn it so it covers the curvature of the pot. There we go. Covers the curvature of the pot. And it'll also free up a little bit more space here in the middle. So once we got our piece of wood set, we'll come in with our regular substrate. Now, this is my substrate mix. Zoom out a little bit. My substrate mix is 1 part Hort sand, 2 parts perlite, or excuse me, 2 parts peat, 2 parts perlite, 1 part sphagnum moss. And when you set it, you don't want it to be disgustingly wet, right? These are swamp plants, however, they like it a little damp, on the damper side. They don't really like it too wet, unless it's a certain species or, you know, Utricularia, something like that, where they're subaquatic or completely aquatic. So after we get our piece of wood set, we can come in, put our substrate in. Just put it in like that, pack it down. Here's where we're going to put in our second layer of Mycos. Great white. And we just, boom. Just like we're putting garlic on meat, seasoning some chicken, whatever. Put that in there. Like that. And then a little bit of rainwater, right? We don't use bottled water, tap water with our carnivorous plants. We only use rainwater or distilled water. I got some rainwater here from a big rain that we had over the weekend. We're just going to kind of drizzle it on. We're not going to drown it. Again, we just want this to soak into the soil. This is the way that I do it. You can do it any which way you like, if you even choose to use Mycos. Not everybody uses Mycos. I just use it from my experience with plants. I've always had outstanding success with it. So once we get our second Mycos layer laid, we can come in with the final lift of substrate. Now this top layer is going to be a little dry. We're going to have to wet it up because it was in a bucket and I forgot to put the lid on it. So you can see the mixture of stuff that I have in there. Some of this crap out of here. Pack it in nice and tight around the piece of wood. And you should have it level across, just like this. Break some of this sphagnum up. I try to keep all the substrate in place here. Some of this old weed roots and stuff like that, some of the little crap that grows up in the peat, have no control over that. Okay, so we have our final layer put in. Now we're ready to start adding plants after we wet this up. So we'll come back in with our rainwater. Just wet it up. Make it nice and damp. Make sure it goes down. Sometimes you might have to pour a little bit when you're doing it like this. But this is also going to help that Myco soak into the soil on that second layer, which is definitely what we want if you're using that. Again, a lot of people don't even use it, so one little bit more water here. And we'll go ahead and start setting plants. I'll give you an intro of what we're putting in here. Just by the looks of it, it's already going to be really cool looking. I can already tell. So we have that piece of wood in there. Now we can come in and we can put our secondary props in, which what I'm going to use is these 2 gray stones. And we're just going to put them just like that. They'll settle in. The weight will actually hold them down or pull them down. First plant we're going to do, this is a wild specimen I got from a neighbor. Sarracenia minor. This is 1 division. Look at the roots on this bad boy. And see, this is another reason why you want to have your pot at least 7 to 11 inches deep, because of the roots. So we can set it like this and then put everything in around it, and I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll dig out our area. You don't have to dig it out real deep. You can just set it, you know, push it down a little bit just like that. Set it just like that. Well, let's turn it just a little bit. Let's turn it all the way around like this. We're actually going to have it offset like this. I like it a little bit better like that because I'm going to put something else right here. Still a little damp. That's why you got to make sure that you get it all the way down in there. That water, make sure you let it soak. Let's get a little bit more water. Soak it a little bit. Normally you wouldn't do that, but sometimes you have to. Now, this root is exposed, right? That's okay. Because let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here with a second plant. Piece of rhizome right there. I'm going to come in here with a second plant, a sundew, and they're going to conjoin and become part of that cluster. Once the mycos hits it, they're going to take off. The roots are going to take off. So the first one we're going to put in, the first sundew, I like the way it's a radioactive green color. It's going to offset this pitcher plant outstandingly. Drosera capensis alba. And it's got a nice little chunk of moss growing around it, so we want to keep that on there as well. So I'm just going to take this out like that. Roots are there. We're going to bust this moss off because we're going to use this throughout the bog, but we want to have nothing but the roots going into the ground here. Actually, yeah, let's do it like this. I'm going to wash these roots off, and I'm going to leave that piece of moss attached, just like that. So that way it'll help fill in later on. We'll set it there like this. We'll come in like that. Level off the substrate to where we got some excess here. Make sure it's nice and level. This is going to be, once it grows, it's going to be a nice piece. The wood will help it jump out at us here. That's one of the reasons why I always try to use a backdrop with my bogs. So we'll come in here, make sure all this stuff is covered in. Already looking good. We'll come back in. We have a little bit more substrate. Put away in the shed. We'll come back through and top that off later. But as for right now, looks good. We got our first 2 plants set. And we're going to come in with our third one. And it's also, it continues with the theme of the radioactive green. This is Drosera capillaris. And you can find this pretty much wild all over Florida. However, this one is not wild. This is one that I got many moons ago. And it's divided into so many plants I can't even count them. This one is done for. So we're not even going to include that, but we are going to just grab it like this. Get the roots. We're not even going to take the dirt off. We don't want to just even settle it because it's so small. We're going to put it over here. Just like that. We got our first 3 plants set. Let's set some moss now to kind of fill in the gaps here. So we got that nice green piece from the sundew down here. Just go ahead and push that down just a smidge. We got another piece here. It's got a nice little corner on it, so we're going to stick it right there. Just push that down just a smidge. Just set it in there, and it'll take root, and it will go. Just like that. We got some older moss here. Some of it, a lot of it, I've been trying to restore it, but it's got a lot of crap in it. It's got a lot of grass and just crap, but we're still going to use it because I need to have a floor base for this bog. So we're just going to come in here and push this down like this, and then we're going to go back to setting plants, our final 3 plants actually. Nice curvature on that, so we're going to stack it right against the wall. We'll come in and fill all that stuff in right there. Gonna get that weed out of there. See, weeds everywhere. The joys of trying to repropagate moss outside. Everything sticks to this and sprouts. It's like we got a little bit of utricularia in here, so we're going to use this We also got a stylidium, so that'll spread fairly quick. This will be the last piece of moss we set for right now. We'll go back to setting our plants. So we got that set. We got some extra soil here, so we can come in, fill in these little low spots. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to put another final layer on top. I have, like I said, I have a little bit more substrate in there. And I'll just come through and take care of it that way. Stack some in behind the back here. And we'll put water on this. The water will wash it down in there for us. A little bit low right here. Add this in. This is another kind of mix for another kind of plant, but it ain't gonna hurt nothing. So we're gonna just go ahead and use it. It does no potting soil, same mixture of peat, perlite, sand, just a little bit more sand. All right, so looking good so far, right? Let's go in and let's put our big centerpiece in, which is going to be Dionea typical. We need to get this thing cleaned off a little bit better here. Let's grab the water. I'm going to get all this, try to get as much substrate off without killing the root or destroying the root. Okay. And we are going to, let's see how we can set this, because I got two other ones I'm going to put in here as well. We can set it right here, and it'll be like the big centerpiece. And if anything's going to hang over the side, it can hang over the front. So we'll just push it down like this. Make sure we get the whole root column. Boom. Just like that. This is a rosette fly trap. It's a typical. So it's going to lay flat anyway. That's perfectly all right. So now we got that set. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can put 2 more in. And I think I'm going to do that because I want to offset this green a little bit. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put this little SD Chronos. I think I'm going to go ahead and just stick it in there. Give me a second here. Little SD Chronos, little piece. And cut these nasty traps off. One second here. Let me rinse him off a little bit better. I think I'm going to stick it back here. Yep. It could be too close to the other plant. Actually, we're going to leave him out. We're just going to leave him out. I think we're out of room with fly traps. So we're going to save him. And we'll put him in something else. So what we're going to do is, this is the final piece. And I really want to use this because it's going to offset this green so well. And I'm going to show you in 1 second here. We're going to put it on either side right here. It's going to look cool, cool, cool. Okay. Drosera frilliformis red. And they are in bloom right now, and these spread from the roots. So once I put these in, it's going to carpet the whole bog with these. So, bonus. So, what we'll do, we'll take the first piece out. Be extremely gentle. Actually, it all came together, so that's even better. So we got that. And we're going to sit that over there, and we're going to bust these apart. Just like that. We're going to set the first one. Need a stick. Give me a second. I actually have one right here. You see what I mean? How the red offsets that. The red of the mouths of the fly trap's going to offset that. So that's what we're going for here. So we're just a smidge, make sure everything's nice and tucked in. Second piece will go right there, and then we are done. Done. And we are only 20 minutes in. So it doesn't really take a long time to build these bogs if you know what you're doing. Once you build a few, it just basically comes right to you. So we got our second piece. It's already got a nice root flow. New plants are going to come from all that right there. Let's get a little bit of that dirt off there. Looks like it's got another stylidium in there. I swear that stuff spreads like fire. Move the fly trap over just a bit just so we can stick this down in there. Boom. Just like that. And so what I'll do now, I actually have some of its, pull this up just a bit. I have some of that soil left, so I can actually pack the low spots with that. And it'll be like it never left, hopefully. A little more temperamental than Capensis or Capillaris, but it'll definitely do what I need it to do, and that is spread throughout this bog accordingly. I'm filling the low spots here. I don't even think we have any more room for moss. I think what we're going to do is we'll do another episode where I come back in, and when we do our update on it in about a week or so, when I come back in and do that, we can go ahead and discuss some of the other little things about moss and all that stuff. But I want to see if it starts to fill in. I want to see what this what the mycos is going to do over the course of a week. Really, within about a couple of days, you can start seeing a difference in your growth and all that stuff, because the roots are actually spreading and taking hold a little bit quicker with the aid of the beneficial bacteria. So put this up like this. Just putting the final touches on for right now, man. Looks great. Looks good to me, man. Definitely cannot complain. There's some things that'll, once it settles, we'll have to make some adjustments too, but that's okay. We got it. Make sure we don't cover no pictures that are coming in up. Looks outstanding from that side angle there. And when I get done here, when I close the video out, I'll do some different angles for you to kind of show you what it looks like from different perspectives. So just finishing up the low spots now. Before we go, I want to thank you so much for watching today and taking your time out of your day to watch this bog build. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe, like, share with all your friends. If you have a bunch of plant friends, they're definitely going to want to see this. It's something that you can do on a weekend, or just sitting around bored one day. As long as you have the material to do it, you're golden. So I thank you again so much for watching. And everybody, please have a safe, great day. We love you, and have a good one.